Hi viewers, this is Dr. Shehzad Kareem. Today in this short video, I explain the concepts of interlanguage and fossilization. We often find these two concepts of interlanguage and fossilization in the literature of applied linguistics and SLA, second language acquisition in particular. These two terms, interlanguage and fossilization, for the first time were used in 1972 by Larry Selinker, who is an American professor of applied linguistics. To explain these two concepts, interlanguage and fossilization, I draw your attention towards the common observation as a second language learner. As a second language learner or a foreign language learner, you would have noticed that when we learn the second language, we pass through a process of learning the second language or the target language. We do not acquire the target language or the second language immediately. Sometimes it takes even years. So for years, we pass through the process. That is, we start from the very basics and then we keep on moving towards the process of learning the second language and the target language. And during this process, we construct our own mental grammar of the target language, say in our case, English language. We construct and reconstruct the mental grammar of the target language. And during this process, when we construct and reconstruct our mental grammar, we make errors, we make mistakes. Now this stage, when we make errors, we make mistakes, and still we keep on moving towards the process of second language acquisition and second language learning, this stage is called interlanguage. When we are moving towards the learning of the second language and we are in the middle of the stage and we are going through the process of learning the target language, this whole stage is known as interlanguage. Now this stage varies in different learners, just like you would have noticed that some of the learners acquire or learn the target language quickly, and some of the learners that take a long time to learn the target language. Similarly, some learners make more errors and some learners, they move through the process of learning quickly and they make less errors. Now this process, when we are between our first language and the target language, we are moving from the first language and we are learning the target language, and we are trying to achieve a native-like proficiency in the target language. Now this complete process or these complete stages are known as interlanguage. As you would have noticed that this process might take a long time, just like sometimes years. So the whole age or the whole process or the whole number of years, when we are moving from the first stage of language learning, target language learning, to the final stage of the learning of the target language, this whole process is known as interlanguage. And during this process of interlanguage, or during these stages of interlanguage, we make many errors in learning the target language, and some of those errors might be due to the interference of our L1 or because of the overgeneralization of the rules of the target language, or because of the faulty learning of the rules of the target language. So during this process of interlanguage, different learners make different errors, and that's why this interlanguage, it varies from one learner to another. So all the learners do not pass through the same process of interlanguage. They make different type of mistakes. They learn quickly, they learn slowly. So this interlanguage varies from learner to learner. And it is also reported in the literature of second language acquisition that the second language learners or the foreign language learners rarely achieve a native-like proficiency. It's not that no one can achieve, many of the learners can achieve, but to a greater extent, learners do not achieve native-like proficiency and they remain in the stage of interlanguage even for a longer period of time. And with this concept is associated the second concept of fossilization. Fossilization is when a learner stops learning the target language, that stage is known as fossilization. Even though that he has not achieved native-like proficiency and he has stopped in the middle of the process, so that stage when a learner stops learning the target language, that stage is known as fossilization. Now this stage of fossilization also varies, just like interlanguage, it varies from individual to individual. Some of the learners fossilize quickly, earlier, while some of the learners, they fossilize at a later stage. So if a learner fossilizes quickly, it means that his language learning is less. and a learner who has fossilized at a later stage, it means that that learner has acquired language to a greater extent. However, some of the learners who are very much proficient and who take lots of interest and they try to achieve native-like proficiency, so they also achieve native-like proficiency in the target language, and they fossilize at a very later stage. So these two concepts I have explained in this video. In my next videos, I will also explain some other concepts of applied linguistics and second language acquisition. Thank you very much. By then, take care.